Good evening, fine people of YouTube. Tonight we are doing a fuel economy test on the highway in a 2023 Lexus RX 350. This is the new body style Lexus RX. This happens to be a front wheel drive model with the 2.4 liter turbo 4-cylinder engine. Not a hybrid, so we are rated 29 miles per gallon on the highway, and we are going to see if we can meet or exceed that target. Let's see, it already thinks it's doing 30 miles per gallon. We've gone 7.4 miles. I have my adaptive cruise set to 70, although we're currently doing 65 under the prevailing traffic conditions. So we will cruise down the highway for 57 or so miles and then cruise back up the highway and fill up at the same pump at the same gas station that I just filled up at, and we'll see how it did. I did test an RX350 last year. That was the last of the old body styles, and of course that car did have the V6, not a turbo 4, and it beat its highway rating by like 4 miles per gallon, 4.5 miles per gallon. It did really well. I don't know that I expect this one to do quite as well. It's a 4-cylinder turbo, which usually don't test quite as well on these highway rides in a vehicle of this size than a larger V6. And this car only has 446 miles on it. So, still a pretty green engine, but hey, you know, at 64 miles per hour, which I'm still doing, we're only doing 1600 RPM, so it could be pretty efficient. We're up to 31.2 mpg. I will pick the speed up here when I'm done yammering because I'll switch lanes, and then I'll cruise down the highway a bit more and have an update for you right now. Okay, sit rep here. We've covered 40 miles. The car alleges that it's averaging 33.6 miles per gallon, which would be very good if true. And I will note at this point that the vast majority of the Toyota Lexus products that I have tested, the car's onboard trip computer is typically pretty accurate as far as the average MPG. I think the 2022 RX that I tested was 1 mile per gallon high, which is actually a very accurate reading. And I've done a couple of Corolla hybrids that were almost spot on. So Toyota's usually pretty strong on that stuff. I'm very thankful. It has been pretty much perfect conditions for this test. No traffic or weather to mention. So God willing, that continues. I'm going to cruise down to the turnaround spot and get turned around, and I will have another update for you when I get that done. Okay, so I have turned around on the highway. The average shows 33.5. I'm on the way back. I have hit a very small amount of traffic here. It looks like they might be doing some road construction up ahead, but based on my wireless Apple CarPlay, I don't think that this is going to be a big issue. I think we'll clear this in just a couple of minutes, and it hasn't slowed us down too much anyway. So that is the situation right now. Current average of 33.5. This route seems to be a little bit more uphill on the way back, so we may lose a couple of miles per gallon on the way back, but it should be noted that the digital fuel gauge is still reading full. So that's where I'm at right now in the brand new Lexus RX 350, and probably have one more update for you before we hit the gas station, and then we'll go fill it back up and see how it did. All right, we are bringing this bad boy home. We've covered 107 miles. We are almost back to the gas station. Still holding strong. It thinks it's averaging 33.1, and we've only burned 1 nub of fuel off of the strangely kind of ghetto-looking digital fuel gauge. The gauge cluster is really the only part of this new RX that I'm unimpressed with so far. The rest of the interior is gorgeous. I love the way the exterior looks. So it's going to be cool if this thing averages good fuel economy too, just a little more icing on the cake. Other than that little bit of slowdown on my last update, things are running smooth right now. So cruise a little bit more up the road, get to the gas station, fill it up, and let you know how we did. All right, folks, we are back. Apparently, when you turn this sucker off and start it again, it deletes its trip average. So it doesn't know what it averaged, but it was saying, I think it averaged 33.3 by the time I got back to the gas station, if I remember. We covered 117 miles, and it took 3.560 gallons of fuel. So 117 divided by 3.56 equals, 32.8 miles per gallon. So it was, unfortunately, I don't have the exact, but it was within a half a mile per gallon of what it actually averaged. And more than that, it was 2 miles per gallon better than the V6 RX I tested last year, which is exactly what the EPA said. So the all-new 2023 Lexus RX350 beats its EPA miles per gallon by like 3.8. That's strong. And pretty close there, except that it'll delete it if you restart the car. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to reset this. There we go. So I'm going to drive this car for a couple of more days under less controlled circumstances. So we'll fast forward right now a couple of days and see what it got. All right, we have traveled forward in time. I put another 159.2 miles on this car. And again, these were under not ideal circumstances. Commuting to work, mixed city and highway, filming the car, which meant that it was sitting there idling for extended periods of time. So this is not going to be as good, but I just filled it up. It took 6.973 gallons of regular unleaded. So 159.2 divided by 6.973 equals 22.83. So that is obviously not as good as the controlled highway test that I did, but it's still a little bit better than the city miles per gallon. This car is rated 22 city, so it got a legit 22.8 under unideal circumstances. I consider that a good result from the new Lexus RX350. Front-wheel drive, turbo engine, decent performance, beautiful car, decent gas mileage, nothing to complain about. If you like my video, please like, subscribe, leave me a comment, and have a great day. Bye-bye.